Well, we are through another night of hockey, and there were some lopsided results for the most part. There was one game that was kind of close, but really, technically, only the final score was close. I never got the feeling the game was as close as the score may tell you that it is. Let's go ahead and jump into Ottawa against Florida. So the Senators reminded us tonight why they're below 500. Why they're still a rebuilder. And the Florida Panthers reminded us why they can't afford to go into a rebuild and they don't have any intention to. And it starts early. Achari scores from Yandel and Huberdeau at 9:42. This was a very fast game, chances at both ends. Duclair had a really, really good first period, just could not get a puck past Bobrovsky, who had a very good game. That'll get overshadowed by the end of this game by everything else that happened in it. Second period, Achari scores from Huberdeau early at 1 minute and 18 seconds. Have I mentioned how much I like Noel Achari and I miss him in Boston? Yeah. Anisimov would score from Ennis and Logan Brown at 2:05, so that makes it 2-1, but then the Panthers get a power play as Ennis takes a penalty, and they'd make him pay. It is Barkov scoring from Huberdeau at 5 minutes and 41 seconds, power play goal. And it's mentioned that Huberdeau, this is his 500th game. That was also point number 399 in that 500th game. So if you want to see, some balance in here, you'll see it by the end of this game. Achari would score from Weegar and Ekblad at 10:33, and the route was on. Absolutely, the route was on. Achari with his first hat trick, and there's still Florida fans that bring rats to the game, little plastic rats. So there's a plastic rat on the ice, at least one that you could see, and that was really a fantastic second period for them. And then before it's out, this is the Senators this year. Matheson scores from Huberdeau at 15:06. So Huberdeau gets point number 400 in game number 500. So today's the day where it's game 500, gets point 400 by getting 4 assists in tonight's game. And I think 411 points by Jokinen is the highest. He's going to pass that soon. Tony Nato then scored from Ekblad at 19:29. It's 6-1 after 2. Third period, the Senators got an early power play. That was their only power play of the game. They wouldn't score on it. And the Senators got a lot of shots. They don't get a goal because Bobrovsky was pretty good. But when the 3 stars are chosen, because of the goals scored and because of the nights had by members of the Panthers, you can't really give one of the 3 stars away to Bobrovsky. Achari, Huberdeau, and Ekblad get the 3 assists. 3 stars. Ekblad had 2 assists. Huberdeau had 4 assists. Achari had a hat trick. So, yeah. Nilsson saved 25 out of 31. And that's the thing with Anders Nilsson. He's great. He's mediocre, great, mediocre. His numbers overall kind of turn out to be okay. By the end of this season, I think we'll look at Nelson's year and go, he was good. Not great, good. He had some great moments and some great little runs in there, but he's good. But nights like tonight happen. Bobrovsky saves 29 out of 30 in the victory. This was a statement game for Florida. They needed this. Florida, the way they've been playing lately, 3-7 in their last 10, they needed this game. They needed this win, and they got it. Power plays, 0 for 1 for the Ottawa Senators because their power play sucks. And 1 for 5 for Florida because their power play doesn't suck. Shots were 12-11 Florida in the first, 13-9 Florida in the second, 10-6 in the third in favor of the Ottawa Senators. Final shots 31-30. So the shots are pretty close to even, but it's Florida's game. And this was a really, really impressive game for them. The problem that the Florida Panthers have had is when they have a game like this, they'll follow it up with 2 poor ones. So they win the game against Ottawa they need to win, and we'll see whether or not this is the start of something or if it's just another one of those, hey, we're on our way. Oh, never mind. No, we're going back down. But for tonight, they move back into a playoff spot. Next up, Nashville. Nashville Predators winning against the Rangers. Here's another team that desperately needed a victory. The Nashville Predators came into tonight long distance out of the playoffs, and they need to start putting some wins together, or we're going to be talking about Nashville potentially at the deadline selling. Do they have anybody to sell? Poyle doesn't really keep around guys who aren't going to be with the team for long anyways. He signs them to long-term contracts or they get moved. But the Predators were up 6-3 in shots at the 9.5-minute mark. Not long after that, Grimaldi gets a goal from Yossi and Ellis at 10:36. So nice to see Rocco get another goal. Kreider then scores from Zibanejad at 11 minutes and 10 seconds. And if you're a Rangers fan, that's probably your highlight of the night. Zibanejad played well. So that's your take from this as well, is that Zibanejad had a pretty good game. Saros held Hedl off the score sheet. The Rangers then had some pressure that led to a power play. They would not score on that. There was a last-minute Preds power play, and Lemieux, who took that penalty, didn't seem to be very happy with the call. There was some unhappiness shown by players tonight, and it's nice to see that feistiness. Second period, and the question became, did the Rangers score? No. They threw their arms in the air. The fans thought yes. Referee said no. They double-check. The puck goes behind Saros, and it's going over the goal line, and then it kind of does this weird flip thing, and it curled. It curled back onto the goal line before it completely crossed it, so it never crossed the goal line fully. I don't know that I've seen a puck curl like that before, and I've seen some master curlers, so maybe Panarin, the NHL thing doesn't work out for him. He could be a good, decent curler, or maybe Saros made it curl that way. Regardless of who did it, it was impressive. Panarin smiled even though they called it no goal, which shows that Artemi Panarin, cool as a cucumber. That's what you want to see, is when they take a goal off the board, he goes, it's fine. Didn't go in, that's fine. And it didn't go in, so he didn't really have anything to get mad about, other than angry that, if that had gone in. And then Panarin hit a post not too long after that, so he was close to having a really, really good night tonight. The Rangers get a power play. They don't score on that. Yossi would then score from Hamhuis and Turris at 10 minutes and 16 seconds, and it was another turnover. The Rangers struggled with turnovers in their own zone tonight, and it was leading to some really, really good chances for the Preds right in front of the net, and it was a big part of the reason that the Predators emerged as victors tonight. The Rangers pushed for an answer, led to a scrum in front of the Nashville net, because Nashville didn't like some of the tactics. Ekholm would score from Bonino at 15:23. It's 3-1 for Nashville after 2. Third period, the Predators get a power play. Turris would hit the post. And I thought it was noteworthy, and I put it on the board, that Hedl had a really good game. Hedl doesn't end up getting a point tonight, but he had a really solid game. And this is where, the score doesn't necessarily tell you everything, and your highlight packages may not tell you everything. Hedl may not end up in a highlight package, but he played very, very well. At 12:38, the Rangers get a power play. They wouldn't score on it. However, they would get a goal. Panarin would score from Zibanejad and Fox at 17:18. So they make it a 2-goal game, and you're thinking, or no, 1-goal game, and you're thinking maybe. So they pull the goalie, and no. Yossi would score an empty netter at 18 minutes and 11 seconds. They pull the goalie again. Ellis scores from Watson at 19:55. So your final score is 5-2 after a pair of empty netters. And for Nashville, a greatly needed victory on the road against a quality opponent, the New York Rangers. For the Rangers, squandered 2 points that they needed in order to make up the gap between themselves and the Philadelphia Flyers. They committed tonight 3 points out of the playoffs. They leave tonight 3 points out of the playoffs and feeling like they missed an opportunity. Your 3 stars in this are Saros, Yossi, and Zibanejad. Saros saved 39 out of 41 shots. Georgiev only faced 23 and saved 19 shots. Favored the Rangers in every period. 15-8 in the first, 13-7 in the second, 13-9 in the third. Final shots 41-24 for the Rangers. And the weird thing is, Nashville, in a lot of their losses this year, they've outshot their opponents by a lot, and they've lost. So maybe they're learning like Carolina did last year, to pick their chances, pick their shots a little bit better, not just shoot from everywhere. Maybe there's some of that going on with Nashville. Both power plays went 0 for 4 tonight. But this was a very important game for both teams. And for Nashville, they come up with a win that pulls them within 5 points of a playoff spot. It is, like I said, they come into tonight. It was dicey for them. Now they're 5 points back rather than 7. If they had lost in regulation in New York, 7 points out and giving up games in hand and all this, yeah, we'll see what ends up happening with Nashville from here. But for tonight, they've got to feel pretty good. Moving along. Columbus apparently is a bad matchup for the Capitals. I'm not sure what this is. I don't understand what's happening here. But the shots were 10-2 for Columbus at 8 minutes. They then get a power play, and they were really in control at that point. Robinson would then get a goal from Texier at 11 minutes and 32 seconds. But the Caps would push back, and they did. They get a late power play. They got another power play in the last minute of that period, so you get the feeling like they're pushing for it. But Columbus's penalty kill was pretty good tonight, and they didn't break. Second period, early Caps penalty kill. Or early Caps power play, I should say. That was a power play, and I put Columbus can't do this. Like, Columbus can't continue to take penalties. They have got to start pushing back and getting the puck out and just avoid like tripping, hooking, slashing, all these things that'll cost you in the end, right? The shots were evening up, but Korpisalo was holding very well. Korpisalo then stopped 2 shots by Ovi. Ovi takes a shot from here. He kicks it back out. Ovi's right there because Ovi can be in 2 places at once. It's what Ovi does. It's how he gets so many goals. There are maybe 3 Ovis on the ice at any one time if you pay really close attention. Ovi takes that second shot, and it's saved again by Korpisalo. And you could see some frustration, and yet the Capitals get another power play. And Dubois seemed to be very angry. So, and again, it's notable that Dubois punches things when he gets angry, and so I'm going to start really documenting Dubois. I'm going to start really paying close attention to him because they're up 1-0. He's still angry enough to start punching stuff, which can be good, but again, if he punches those boards at some point and breaks a bone in his hand, he's going to feel kind of dumb. Now, and we've all done that where you turn around, you punch something, you're really angry, and then you go, that really hurt. Really hurt. Bjorkstrand scores from Nyquist and Jenner 32 seconds into the period. And this was a real gut punch. Columbus had managed 2 shots in the second period. Columbus was not playing particularly well, and they get a goal there. So where Holtby needed to make a save, and I'm not putting anything on him. It was a fantastic goal, but it was a tough one. Korpisalo then denied Carlson. The Caps had all kinds of puck control, couldn't get a goal. Just couldn't get one. And it's not like they didn't have good chances. They just couldn't get it past Korpisalo. Bjorkstrand then with one of the nicest goals of the night for sure. What an amazing move to put it around Holtby, and there's just like a couple inches there, and he just puts it in. Harrington and Peak get the assists at 8:46. Peak was awarded that assist later on. I hope they don't take it away from him before I do this review. That's his first point in the NHL, so good for him. And the Capitals at this point down 3-0. Eventually, they pull the goalie with 5 minutes and 3 seconds left. Then Columbus got angry, so they dumped the puck out from their own side of center. Well, that's icing. The problem was, I think it was Bjorkstrand that raced down the ice and was the only guy anywhere near the puck, and they blew it down as icing. Now, it's worthy of note that one of the linesmen in this game got hurt, so only had 1 linesman and 2 referees. In that situation, I always thought there was a referee that would act as a linesman, as well as doing the referee duties, that they wouldn't just have 2 linesmen, or 1 linesman, but I guess not. And then that linesman was kind of told off by the referees. And it was important because Columbus has the puck in Washington's zone ahead 3-0 with an empty net. They would have scored an empty net goal, but the whistle went. So the Caps call a timeout with 3 minutes and 39 seconds left. And then there was a hit on Gavrikov by Wilson, which led to Savard dropping the gloves with him. And you know what, David Savard, you had the guts to throw your gloves down with Wilson. Kudos to you for standing up for your teammate. Hopefully Gavrikov's okay. The one thing I'll say is that Gavrikov exited the game to get checked out because it made contact with the head. Wilson gets a charging penalty. Savard gets the instigator for starting the fight. Now, it's a charging penalty. There was some head contact in there. Whether the head's the primary point or not is where the question will come in. And it did look like Wilson left his feet. They showed it from a couple angles. It did look like Tom Wilson left his feet. I would not be surprised if player safety looks at it. I'm not going to make any determination of what may or may not happen here. But it's Wilson, so it's going to cause all kinds of opinion on both sides of the fence on this one. However, when all the dust clears, Columbus gets a 3-0 shutout over the Washington Capitals, who will be glad not to see Columbus for a while. Holtby saved 18 out of 21 in the loss. Korpisalo saved all 30 shots he faced. He was a wall. He's also the first star, Bjorkstrand second star, and Texier third star for them. Power plays, Washington goes 0 for 4, which really stands out. Columbus 0 for 2. Shots were 14-8 Columbus in the first, 8-2 Washington in the second, 14-5 Washington in the third. Final shots 30-21 for the Caps. They had lots of puck control, especially after being down 10-2 in the shots early. Just couldn't buy a goal. Korpisalo said no. That being said, I need to change boards. All right. Colorado. St. Louis came through big tonight. This was a really big, important game, and it felt important right out of the gate. The Blues got an early power play. The pressure by the Blues eventually led to a 4-on-4. They called both tripping and embellishment. And I agree with Darren Pang on this. How do you embellish it when you're falling down from being tripped? And they showed it. And if anybody can tell me how that's embellishment, like, I'm okay with calling embellishment and offsetting penalties at times. This was not one of those cases. I'm not quite sure. I think it was Shen that was called for embellishment. Yeah, I didn't see it at all. The shots favored the Blues, but Grubauer was solid until Perron scores from O'Reilly and Sundqvist at 18:51. It was a fantastic pass by Ryan O'Reilly. Seriously, great pass. 1-0 St. Louis after one. Second period. Kadri scores from Graves at 55 seconds. Very quick, very early chance. They then get a power play, and Rantanen would score from Girard and McKinnon at 9:35. So, pretty nice showing there for the power play on that one. The Blues then killed off the Avs power play. So they killed off a second power play for the Avs. The teams clearly didn't like each other around this part of the game. They really don't like each other, which is fine. Kadri then took a 4-minute penalty late, which is why I don't think this number down here is right. And I got this straight from the app, but I don't trust it. Because there's a late 4-minute power play that's a double minor. Perron power play goal from Pietrangelo and Schwartz at 18:47. You just double check with the app, because that's 2 power play goals right there. So I'll get out of that one. I don't mind doing this while I'm recording, because I think it's kind of funny to do this while I'm recording. Yeah, so that's not right. It actually shows them as 1 for 3 now. All right, well, whoever's running the app was asleep at the switch, because that's a power play goal from Perron and Pietrangelo and Schwartz at 18:47. Dunn scores on the power play from Bozak and Falk at 19:23. And the double minor given to Kadri was at 18:05. So, come on. Showing them as 1 for 3 on the power play. It showed as 1 for 2 last time I looked. They're almost there. They've almost got it right. So, yeah, it's 3-2 after the second period. And, yeah, Kadri catches the Blues player up in the face. He actually had to go and have stitches after that. It was one of those ones where you got to be more careful with your stick. Third period, the Blues pushed. The Avs were on their heels early. The Avs turnovers. This was another one where turnovers were costing them. So turnovers were costing the Rangers. They were also costing the Avalanche tonight. McEachern was then denied after another turnover. Kyrou would then score at 11:24. That's his first this year. It's the second of his career. Jordan Kyrou has been fantastic. The offensive numbers aren't there yet. They're going to come. He is absolutely 100% having a very, very good season. And we won't talk about him for Rookie of the Year at all. It's not going to happen, and nor should it. But he is really coming along for St. Louis. Perron then hit the post. Bennington stopped McKinnon shortly thereafter when the puck went the other way. And then Perron hits the empty net from Sundqvist and O'Reilly at 16:05. That's your empty netter and your hat trick. And it's a 5-2 victory for the St. Louis Blues. So when the Saints go marching in, indeed. I have to say, for St. Louis, I love the bells every time somebody scores a goal. I absolutely love when the Saints go marching in. I think the stuff they've got going on in St. Louis, it feels old-fashioned hockey-ish, and it's just a lot of fun. So, I was impressed with this victory tonight for the Avs. They got to come back and get ready for the next battle. These teams are going to be fighting for first this year. It certainly appears to be that they will be the best teams in this division likely throughout the year, unless Winnipeg has something to say about it. I don't think Dallas will. But, this is an interesting feud between these two teams. 3 stars, Perron with the hat trick. O'Reilly, who had one of the best assists I've seen this week. Dunn, and I realize it's only Monday. Dunn's your third star. Grubauer, 30 saves on 34 shots. Binnington, 26 saves on 28 shots. Ever since being pulled, he's now putting up good numbers again. So that's excellent to see Jordan Binnington bouncing back from what was his one bad game in the regular season, at least where he actually got pulled. Shots were 15-6 in the first for St. Louis, 13-9 in the second for Colorado, 11-9 for St. Louis in the third. Final shots 35-28 in favor of St. Louis. It showed in the app both teams were 1 for 2 on the power play when I put the numbers on the board. Clearly, St. Louis gets 2 power play goals during the double minor, so that's not right. I'm going to go with 2 for 3. Eventually, it'll be right, but right now it's not. So, all right, next up, Oilers. This is the thing. So I was having this discussion on Discord. The Oilers do this, and they did this enough in the first, I want to say, 20 games of the season that I believed in them. Then they got away from it over their last 10 games. I don't know if it's, maybe part of it is they got so caught up in Draisaitl and McDavid's points and how many they were putting up. Maybe they were trying too hard to get their point totals up. And I don't mean McDavid and Draisaitl in particular. I mean other players. And maybe it gave them this belief they were something more offensively than they are, and they got into some bad defensive habits. Maybe tonight is just a matter of them playing against Dallas, a team that struggled to score at times, and maybe in their next game they go back to allowing 4 or 5 or 6. But for tonight, the Oilers played pretty well. They started really strong. Right away, the first 5 minutes, they came out with a really good plan for that road game. Cassian then scores from McDavid and Nurse at 8:07. The Stars then had a 4-on-1 shortly thereafter. Yeah, that fell apart. I couldn't believe that. I was like, wow, 4 stars. Oh, never mind. They held up, and they just gave up. All right. Okay, cool. Draisaitl would then score on a power play from Chason and McDavid at 14-13. The Oilers got another power play shortly thereafter, and they would get a lot of those tonight. The Stars taking some frustrated penalties. You can't be doing that at all. So it's 2-0 Oilers after 1. Second period, the Stars get a power play. During that power play, I had to write this in, too many passes. So the Stars power play sucks. It has been an ongoing story throughout this year. It started waking up a while ago, and then it went right back to sleep. And this is what it is. There's good opportunities, and they passed it. And we would see that throughout this game, and it actually cost them at the end of this game as well. The game was getting physical, but I don't think that necessarily favors Dallas. There's plenty of guys on that Edmonton bench are like, oh, physical. Yeah, we can play that game. We're good. I'm thinking, Nurse, Cassian, and the bunch. Yeah, they're pretty good with a physical game. The Stars got another power play, but Koskinen was having a bounce-back game, and I think the Stars in those 3 power plays, I think they managed 1 shot. It might have been 2. There was a shot at the end of that third power play, which, depending on when the shot was saved, it was either their second shot on the power play for the night, or it didn't count as a power play shot. Just not great. Third period, the Oilers have good luck versus Bishop so far this year. They chased him in their first meeting, and they had 2 goals on him tonight, and I thought that was noteworthy since Bishop's been pretty lights out for most of the year. There was a prime chance then missed by Sagan in front of the net. He just whiffed on it. The Stars took a tripping penalty, and again, it was one of those frustration calls where the Oilers just looked a little bit quicker to the puck, so some lazy plays by Dallas where you'll get the stick in there and it's like, what are you doing, guys? You can't be doing that. Jones then took a penalty that gave the Stars their third power play. That was their third, and that was the one where I put up power play was ineffective for the Stars, and I don't know if that last shot counted as a power play shot or not. There's a goalie pull with 6 minutes left, which didn't cost Dallas, but it benefited them only with Sagan scoring from Pavelski and Radulov at 17:23. Then there was a heavy Dallas push when they had the goalie pulled again. They just couldn't do it. And then with, I think it was 2 seconds left, I'm pretty sure it was Alexiak that had the puck. It was either Alexiak or Klingberg. I'm pretty sure it was Alexiak had the puck. And with 2 seconds left, should have blasted it. And instead, he looked for a pass. And, yeah, that pretty much sums up how tonight went. Not to take anything from Koskinen, but there were some really good opportunities Dallas had tonight where they chose to pass, looking for the perfect opportunity rather than just taking the shot. And they still managed 34 shots tonight. There were some really good shots that I thought they went, I'll pass it, when they should have just taken the shot. And then there's some desperation shots that happen after that, where it's maybe from not as solid of an angle. Maybe you're shooting from further out than you want to. Koskinen saves 33 out of 34 in the victory. Bishop, shaky first somewhat, kind of, sort of, although Cassian and Draisaitl are no slouches when it comes to goal scoring right now. So, pass on that, and then he was perfect from there for 26 saves out of 28. 3 stars are McDavid, Koskinen, and they gave Sagan the 3rd star. I guess I get that. I probably would have given it to McDavid, Koskinen, and then Draisaitl for the 3rd star, to be honest. I know it's a 2-1 game, and I know Dallas is my team and all that, and I'm supposed to be all, but no, I don't think I would have given Sagan a star. Not with the missed chance he had there early in the 3rd, and just some of the plays, it's just frustrating. And their power play being 0 for 3. Sagan's out there on that. Power play for the Oilers, 1 for 6, and that's really part of your difference here. Shots were 12-9 Oilers in the first, 8-8 in the second, 17-8 for Dallas in the third. So for Edmonton, you've got to tamp that down. Final shots 34-28 for Dallas. But until the 3rd period, Oilers had a perfect road game. So there's a lot to build on here. And for the Oilers, they do with this victory tonight. They pass the Vegas Golden Knights to go back into 2nd in the division. And again, I know it's early in the season, but it is so much fun to look at it. So I'm looking at that standings change, and I'm saying that's kind of fun. We'll see whether or not the Oilers can maintain that, if this is the start of something good, or if this is just like another loss for Dallas where they just don't score goals, and those seem to be a little too common. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for all your support. Really nice channel growth today, in part due to of course, the Taylor Hall trade helped. But thank you guys for all the comments, the views, the likes, even the dislikes. Everything that gets done that generates discussion, generates interest in the channel, and I thank you for that. I will talk to you again soon.